YouTube, for those of you to watch on YouTube. It's interesting because it seems that with time, more and more people are watching it straight. It's on YouTube. Yeah, we see more people commenting there. Okay, all right, that was me. All right, okay, welcome, good morning, and we are going to have a great treat this morning. Nilbert is going to be presenting. Nilbert, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Happy Tuesday. We're one day closer to convention. So, who's excited for convention? So
Yeah.
it's it's officially less than 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, 9 days.
Yeah, and I know some of my team members are actually flying in a day early or so they can kind of run around Salt Lake City and discover or kind of like enjoy the sights and all that. So, yeah. Who has something exciting to share this morning? Any anything new like with your business, new brand ambassadors, new advancements, or any events that any you guys attended over the weekend? I know there were several open houses that occurred over the weekend. We actually had our first one in San Diego, and it was a lot of fun setting up and learning how to do it because it was our very first one. We didn't get the attendance that we were hoping for, but you know what? That's all part of the business, right? We learn as we go. So, you know, I had a powwow with my team members and co-collaborators and all that, and kind of like to tweak how we advertise, how we put it out, how we promote for next time, so we can get better results. All right. Well, okay. So today's topic is about building your brand. So for I know a lot of people here, we have such varying degrees of experience when it comes to network marketing, our industry. Some of you here have a lot of experience coming from whether they came from previous platforms or just having had a lot of opportunities to really try other platforms from before. While there are some here that are first timers in the industry like myself. Uh, First time in this industry, but going on almost over 2 years now since I started with three. So building your brand is actually something that is very key to our industry. It does, there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of products, similar companies, similar products, and you can have the best products, you can have the best plans and all that, but in the end, what you're doing is you're building your brand, right? You're building it's your own company. It's you, basically, right? How you relate to people, how people relate to you or how they gravitate to you. It's all about you and all about your brand. Okay, so today we're gonna talk a little bit about just kind of like tidbits and steps to hopefully will help people, especially the newcomers, the new timers, give them ideas on how to effectively build their brand and grow their business. Okay, so let me share my screen and let's start. Okay, building your brand in network marketing. Okay, there we go. I've been having issues lately with my, can everyone see my screen? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So building your brand in network marketing um, is, something again that will be something we all have to do. Whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, you're actually, everything you do with a business, you're actually building your brand. Okay. So um, your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, right? In our business, that's everything. Okay. When they let's say when they think of you, when we think of George and Adrian, we have this concept of who George and Adrian are or who let's say Christine Peterson is, or who Gary and Frida are. In our industry, everyone kind of has their own um, image, brand, personality, and that defines them in our industry. Okay, so why brand matters in network marketing? Um, well, number one, people join people, not not companies. Okay. Well, you can have the best company. Yes, people get interested in the company, people get interested in your products, but in the end, people will join your business because of you, of how you relate to them, how you actually come across. Okay. Your brand builds trust, attracts the right audience, and helps you stand out. We've always mentioned, you are vibrations, right? You attract like-minded people. So it's important that the brand that you're projecting, attracts the right people, attracts the people that you want in your business, right? It creates long-term influence, not just short-term sales. Yes, I mean, we have, customers that, would try the products maybe once, twice, or whatever, but what we're trying to build here, what your brand should actually attract is long-term influence. We want business builders in our organization. That's the only way that our business will actually grow, right? And actually grow fast. Okay. I'm not saying don't get customers, but when you get customers, that's good. But when you get business builders, it's even better because it'll help you build your business a lot faster, right?
Oh, this guy's
So
boring.
in network marketing, like in our industry, there's a lot of products that are similar, right? I went to ChatGPT and pretty much asked, okay, give me the top five, top 10 network marketing companies in health and wellness, and all these companies came out, right? Because there's a lot of companies that have health and wellness products, because vitamins, supplements, collagen, whatever, right? So there's a lot of products that are similar. There's a lot of compensation plans that are similar. We have the best. We know that. We have one of the best comp plans there is, and we have the one of the best product lineups there is. But there's a lot of very similar plans out there, right? So even though we know we have the best of both, um, what makes you stand out, right? What makes you stand out? You you're the one that actually makes your brand stand out. It's you. It's how you talk to people, how you invite people, right? How you help them once they join the team, right? How you help them grow, right? Your story, your values, your voice. Branding is about owning who you are and showing up with consistency and purpose. So what is a brand? Okay. Well, brand is not just a logo. It's not just a product. It's not just your company name. Maybe for a lot of other industries, that may be the case. But for us, it goes far beyond a logo. It goes far beyond our products. It goes far beyond your company name. Okay. A brand is your identity, your values, your voice, your vibe. We're talking about vibrations, right? The emotional experience people have with you. Okay. That is why, we have amazing leaders that are helping us, with this. We're building our own brand, right? We have the likes of Kim Hui, Samson. We have an amazing CEO. We have leaders here in our own group here that we see every day, right? George and Adrian, Christine, Antoinette, Gary and Frida. So many leaders here that we see every day, right? Tracy and Lance, that are with us also, giving training. We are learning from them, right? So for us in this industry, a brand is not, it goes far beyond, what you see on your ball cap or your shirt, your logo, whatever your product is and all that. So it's like your reputation. right? Your brand is pretty much like your reputation, right? It's what people feel, right? When they come across your content, whether it's in social media or whether when they meet you in person, right? It's the digital handshake of trust, so to speak. Okay. So the three pillars of a magnetic brand, right? Authenticity, be real. We don't have to be perfect, right? We just have to be real. You want to come across as, like what you see is what you get. Basically, when people get to know you, they say, oh yeah, I know this guy. He's really like upfront. He's no there's no doubt that that they know what they're getting when they partner up with you, right? Um, Clarity, know your message and who you serve. So you have to be really clear in what message you're trying to project, right? And you have to be really clear on who you want to reach out to. Who do you want to attract? Okay, so there's no confusion. You have to be very sure about these two things that will definitely make sure that you have clarity and be able to project a very effective brand, so to speak. Consistency, showing up again and again and again. We've heard this so many times. I just mentioned that we had our first open house in San Diego last Saturday. With my teammates, also collaborated with some of our one of our brand ambassadors from another team. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun setting up. We had a beautiful setup actually. We didn't get the kind of traffic, the kind of attendance that we were hoping for, but it was our first time, so we chalk it up to experience, and we're gonna do better next time. So showing up again and again and again, right? Um, so you don't have to be a polished influencer to have an effective brand. That much I know because I'm definitely not an influencer, but I know what I want to convey to people. I know what I want people to feel or to think about when they, let's say, either meet me or see my content on my social media, right? You just need to be you. It's as simple as that, right? Consistently and clearly. You just need to be you. When people know what you're about, they'll trust you, right? They'll come to trust you. Okay. So for this, if you guys have a pen and paper, let's do a little exercise here and let's answer some questions. This hopefully will help you define your brand foundation. Okay, so ask yourself, right? Ask yourself, who are you? Okay, couple of sentences. Who are you? Like, I'm a retired Navy veteran turned health and wellness entrepreneur. As simple as that, right? What do you believe in? What transformation are you offering to people? Okay. Who are you here to serve? Again, remember, it's very important that you're very clear of who you want to reach out to, who you want to attract, right? So, and you have to be very clear on what you offer, right? What your brand offers. So, what transformation are you offering, and who are you here to serve? Okay. What three words describe how you want others to feel when they connect with you? Okay. So, whatever you answer, this is definitely very individual and very personal, right? But keep that in your notes, right? And review that later on or tweak it, right? Tweak it. Um, People, like I mentioned earlier, this will serve as your compass, right? This will serve as your compass and provide you like a clear direction of where you want your brand to be, what you want your
Your
brand.
brand.
Okay.
Okay.
Your content, the conversations and posture should always align with these answers, right? Whatever you post on social media, um, the way you speak, talk with people and all that, it should align with, the answers you put down based on these questions. Okay. All right. Your brand story is equal to your superpower. That's the superpower each of us have. Because we each have our own story, right? And that's unique and very personal to you. Okay. So people don't, yes, we have amazing products, but they don't connect to the products. They connect to the transformation, right? They connect to the transformation. When you share your journey, and you share it with honesty and confidence, people lean in, right? So I guess I could say I was very blessed to have a story that when it happened, it happened, without me really looking for a story, without really looking for that experience, because a lot of people know exactly how I got started into the business, into this opportunity. But for those who are new, my wife and I were simply we were just traveling. We got extremely sick while we were overseas. Someone from the tour group, offered us, to try the products. She gave us like a few days samples of the products, and the products helped us recover so quickly that we didn't get stuck in a foreign country. We were able to get back home to the US, even though we did test positive for COVID after we got back, but we recovered so quickly that it opened my, like, wait, what is this, right? It made me ask so many questions, and it led me to an event, a home event where I saw the opportunity for the first time, and the rest is history, right? So that's my story of how I got started, right? So you have everyone here has your story, has their own story. Right? It'll connect, it'll build connection faster than your product ever will, right? Here are a few pointers of what to share, right? Where you were before this opportunity. Okay. I was already an entrepreneur. I was already a business owner with a couple of traditional business platforms before I discovered this, right? What changed? Well, I discovered a global e-commerce opportunity for one. So I had an opportunity to become a global entrepreneur, right? And then my health journey, took a drastic positive, turn, right? I'm a lot healthier now than I was more than 2 years ago, right? How it's impacting you now, why you're passionate about helping others. So these are, key, like, if you answer these or you share these, it'll naturally form your own personal story. Okay. So brand content buckets for social media. So I know, when it comes to social media, some people use it more than some. Some people don't use it at all. It depends on where you're at, how comfortable you're at with social media. But no one can deny that, in today's world, social media is a very key um, aspect of our lives, right? It helps us stay connected, on a never before, possible way, way, way back, like 20, 30 years ago, right? So, for those of you who leverage social media, like I do as well, you, you know, these are some things that may help you, um, uh, add to your repertoire, add to your toolkit, for growing your business, right? Um, Whatever you put on social media should align with who you see yourself as, and what message you want to convey, and also what people you want to attract. Okay. All right. So inspiration mindset. For those of you who actually are friends with me on social media or who follow me, you guys know I love posting stories or reels about inspiration mindset because that's something that, whenever I post something, it's actually me talking to myself and trying to inspire myself. And I figured while I'm doing that, I might as well try and, help other people out who may be having a bad day or whatever, and get inspired as well, right? Two birds with one stone. Okay. Um, let's see. Lifestyle and personal story. Okay. People love that because that's how they get to know you. What goes on in your daily life? Like, what do you do for fun or whatever? So last night I had my wife and I had an amazing dinner with two other couples, really, really good friends, and it was such a good time. The good thing is, one of those, one of the ladies that in the other couple, they she also used the social media, so she created a reel and invited me to collaborate, and now it's both on our feeds now about the amazing experience we had. Education and value, right? um Post stories and content that helps educate. So I see a lot of here, a lot. I follow a lot of the people here in our huddle here, and I love seeing posts about what collagen can do for you, what eternal can do for you. I just saw one really beautiful one about all the different benefits of Revive, right? Education and value. And it doesn't have to be just about a product. It could be education value in other things. Okay. And then social proof and testimonials, right? Sharing stories of people that actually already uh, have positive results with our products, maybe. Again, it doesn't have to be about the products, but if you're growing your business, that's definitely one way to do it. And then call to action, you try to engage with your audience, right? If you're interested to learn more, send me a message now or DM, or drop health or whatever in the comments, stuff like that. Okay. So, um, you use this content to stay consistent but not repetitive. Okay, show who you are, what you know, and how you help. So you kind of have to rotate them, because you don't want to like just keep on posting just about the product, because that will come across as very salesy, right? People's like, oh, that person, all he posts about is this, so all he tries to do is get me to buy this, right? So it kind of turns people, off sometimes. So you have to rotate and make it a really good mix. Okay. So again, that's what we're gonna go on right now. Common brand mistakes to avoid, right? Again, branding isn't about, perfection. It's about direction, making sure you're going in the right direction. Stay aligned with who you are and don't try to duplicate someone else's lane, right? I see a lot of other what do you call that? Uh, I follow a lot of other leaders here, and I love seeing their posts. I love seeing their content, but that's their brand. That's their journey. I'm not. We don't try to copy someone else's because it's not going to be authentic. Because it's not going to be you, right? Use your own story. Use your own experiences, right? So again, common brand mistakes to avoid: being too vague or generic, right? Being too vague, what does that mean? Well, when you post content, if you're not very specific, like, okay, yes, people know you're in health and wellness, but if you don't kind of intersperse it with actual like what three products offer and all that, they're not going to know, okay, what exactly are you offering, what products or what company are you actually offering. So you can't be too vague or generic, right? Again, I already mentioned this, trying to be someone else. Okay, let's not do that. uh, Only posting about sales and product, because that will actually turn people away. Okay. Inconsistency. So again, you have to be able to really answer those questions I mentioned earlier, so that you're very clear of the message you want to project. That way you avoid being inconsistent. Okay. And lack of confidence in your own story. You have to own it. We have to own it. Okay. Because this is you, right? Okay, your brand in action, right? What do you do starting today? Okay. Yeah, like if people were to visit you today, like what would they see, right? So update your bio to reflect your brand. I did that in my social media. So before my social media, before this and all that, I was kind of like really just kind of mentioning that I'm a Navy veteran, I'm an entrepreneur. I've since changed that because I really want to be more focused, right? So this is what like the about me section in your social media, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. This is what I changed mine to. So mine says 22-year Navy retiree, wellness entrepreneur, helping others to live strong plus age well, right? Partnered with 3 international. That's it. Three simple, statements. And I did put in parentheses there, DM me from, in DM info to learn more, right? Kind of like a little call to action right there. Choose 3 to 5 brand words and embody them in every post, right? So remember, I one of the questions earlier, what are 3 words that will describe you, right? Concentrate on those, kind of like think of what 3 words really, define you, that you want to use consistently and use them, in your posts, okay? Tell your story weekly. Again, depending on how comfortable you are with social media, having, some people post every day, some people post, once like every few weeks and all that. It really depends up to you. Again, it's your journey. It's your brand, right? And then just being consistent, not only with the message, but also your kind of like your style, so to speak. You're the tone, right? When people like look at your social media, they kind of like, oh yeah, that's him or her, all right? That's he or she likes to like use that kind of theme, right? Being consistent. Okay, so these are examples of good versus generic branding. Okay, so. Generic. I help people get healthy with supplements. Join my team. It gets the message across, right? It does get the message across, but it's pretty generic. So for me, how I turned it, like as a veteran turned wellness coach, I help busy parents regain energy, confidence, and purpose through natural solutions, right? It gives them a little bit of where I'm coming from as a veteran, where my experience lies. And then, now I help people, transform into people that have energy, confidence, and purpose. And how do I do that? I offer them natural solutions, right? So a little bit more specific, that's the difference between good and generic branding. Okay, final reminder. So your brand is how you make people feel, right? People will follow clarity, authenticity, and consistency. You are your greatest asset. So, definitely own it, right? Definitely own it. You don't need to wait to be more successful, to be more polished, right? Or more ready to show up as a brand. You already are a brand, right? The question is, are you being intentional with it? That's the question. Each of us already has our own brand right here. We just need to be more intentional with it, right? So call to action, right? This week, craft or update your brand statement. It doesn't have to be in social media, just for yourself, find out exactly how you want your brand statement to show, right? Share your story in a post or reel, if you're comfortable doing that. Okay. Pick 3 core values and stick to them in everything that you do. Again, you go back to those 3 words that will define you, right? Try to really reflect on it, think about it, and decide what they're going to be, and it becomes kind of like your core values that stay with you in everything that you do. Okay, so your brand builds your business. Okay, your brand builds your business, but more importantly, it builds your legacy. right? It's not just about the business, remember? It's about the legacy, right? How many people are we going to help? How many people are we going to uplift, both in health and in, both, with health or with, with their financials, right? And not just here in the US, but global. It is a global movement, right? Right? So show up consistently and trust that your voice matters, right? Review your last 9 posts if you've been in social media and all that. Go back and review your last nine posts and just kind of review and do they reflect your brand? Okay. And I'm gonna share a quote with you guys. This time it's not from anybody famous, and this is one it's coming from me, right? Your brand is a promise to your audience. Okay. It's a reflection of your heart, your mission, and your unique voice. Okay. So that's all I have for you guys today. I kind of went over my 8 a.m. Cutoff, 10 a.m. for you guys in Central. But yeah, so hopefully this will help people kind of like uh, develop or improve or polish or kind of determine the brand that they want to project. Okay.
Mhm.
Um, for those, I saw a message from George. Someone was asking how to get the slides. I'm definitely reach out to you know what? I'm going to send it to George. That way, for those of you who know how to contact me directly by email or whatever, send me an email. I'll send it to you as well, but I'll send it to George. That way, for those of you who are who know how to reach out to George directly, he can share it with you. Okay. So yeah, let me turn it back over to George.
Thank you very much. Yeah, great about branding. Remember, branding is you. By the way, that's one of the reasons when we said avoid getting into conflict or talking about politics or anything like that, because as soon as you do that, you're branding yourself as somebody that's like to have confrontation. I see so many times people that they post every person with a long nose is bad person. Of course, they don't say that, no, but I'm just putting an example. Or I know that according to somebody, everybody that believe in, I don't know, that the rocks are really round, they are really bad people. Don't even get close to them. And then you create a something that's not a brand. Your brand, first of all, social media. If you are in business, is one of the best tools for social media. As soon as we start branding ourselves as somebody that's creating fights or something like that or division, that's no good. That's no good. It's why I'm glad that you mentioned this because our brand has to be an uplifting brand, something that we are giving hope for people, something that we are showing change for people and health wise and business wise. And one of the reasons that's so cool when you said to have positive quotes too, because people in the morning, many times they are depressed and then they see a positive quote and they say, and many times you probably have seen that people post below or comment saying, wow, this is what I needed today. Keep that in mind because that is so important. Now, if you have written something that is not really nice, go back to your old post and start erasing. It's like some people that I was watching a video, a woman that was going for a job, and then she realized that she had a lot of pictures with getting drunk and stuff like that. And so she said, shoot, she went back to social media. I don't know, it was Instagram or Facebook and start cutting all of them because I don't want them to see what I was doing when I was in Las Vegas. That cutting because you never know. And then just because she was applying, it's a funny video that I saw probably like 3 months ago. She cutting everything, going to the changing pictures, etc. Of course, that was a comedy side, but the reality is that we have to be careful what we are posting in social media because that's defining our brand. Anybody wants to comment something before we go? And again, great presentation like always.
Thank you, George.
Yeah. Hey, George. I have
Hey,
a
Cliff,
comment.
how are you?
Good. I'm doing well. Hey, Nilbert, this was great. And I'm definitely going to go through the exercise. I think I know my brand, but it's always good to kind of update, redefine, and tailor it really for this business model. But one thing I was thinking is I'm probably going to run it through Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And I would encourage if anyone, gets stuck going through this exercise to throw it into chat or whatever AI you use, because I've just been uh, becoming addicted, I guess, to it.
Me
And
too.
what comes out is always better than what goes in. So, yeah, just a thought.
That's true.
That's amazing, Cliff. I can relate. I do rely on ChatGPT a lot. Actually, my ChatGPT, she even has a name, so it's like my assistant, right? Um, but one thing I wanted to share with you guys is something that George mentioned. So we are, we each have our own journey, but our journey, right? Your own journey, you never know how your own journey may be inspiring somebody else. Because we're all such a different levels, in our journey. Some are kind of like, like further along, and some are just starting. But whatever it is, someone, might be at the point right now where you were before.
Mhm.
So now, when you share stuff about your journey, about your struggles, people can relate and all that. So, and that really helps develop or kind of make a statement about your brand as well. And George point about what to post and what not to post in social media is actually very true. Nowadays, the world is in such a turmoil. I was just looking at the news last night. We have so much stuff going on all over the world right now. And people, are not only all over the world, even here in the US, right? It's been a very exciting, like, couple weeks, so to speak. But and we each have our own point of view. We each have our own belief about things, right? But you just kind of have to balance that. If you're trying to grow a business, right? If you're trying to grow a business, you want to have as large of a market as possible, right? So in the end, what's more important, right? If you want to project a brand that uplifts anyone and everyone, regardless of, whatever their orientation is, whatever their background is, whatever, and if that's what's going to help you build your business, then you have to kind of stick to that lane, right? I had to learn this, I was a little bit more vocal years and years and years ago as well. And again, it's a journey for all of us. So we just have to kind of like learn as we go along and help each other as we go along, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Thank you very much again. And like always, this is recorded. And we see, well, remember, we are getting close to convention. Make sure you start writing your goals, who you are going to meet, the pictures that you are going to have.